Hello everyone. It's great to see you again in today's video. Jack sat quietly on the edge of the bed, the soft yellow light shining on his face, which was tense and worried. His eyes were fixed on Tu Tien, who lay there, her eyelids light, her breathing even but weak, her hair light beside the white bandage around her head. Every time he saw her like that, Jack's heart would glow as if someone had stimulated it. He tilted his head higher, afraid that the cold wind would startle her. His hand gently touched hers, wanting to transmit warmth and a little strength to the girl he loved. In Jack's deep eyes were the majority of emotions: pity, helplessness, hope mixed with a dull pain. Tien, you have to try hard. I'm always here, waiting for you. Just open your eyes and remember everything. Remember who I am. Jack returned his head, his shoulders light, all the usual strength disappeared when he saw her peaceful but distant in front of him. He just wished that God would soon bring her memory back, so that her smile would shine brightly next to him again, so that they would not have to lose each other for another second. Jack bent down to pull the blanket up. Each movement was gentle, as if afraid that a gust of wind would wake Tu Tien. He gently smoothed the edge of the blanket, his gentle eyes stopping on her face, peaceful and tired after long days of fighting with lost memories. Seeing her sleeping deeply, her eyelashes trembling slightly but her lips calm as if she were in a world without pain, Jack breathed a sigh of relief. A small smile flashed across, though there was still a bit of lingering. He leaned over, his eyes following her every breath once more, as if wanting to remember that image before leaving. Then very gently, he let go of her hand, stood up to adjust Tu Tien's blanket once more. Then Jack was ready to enter a new working day. Jack gently closed the door. His steps were slow but sure, as if he was still lingering over the warmth of the person sleeping inside. He walked decisively. From the moment he left that threshold, Jack knew he had to return to life out there where work, responsibilities and pressures awaited. Each step seemed to carry hope and determination, and no matter how many difficulties lay ahead, Jack knew he was not allowed to fall because of Tu Tien. Jack had just left the house for a while, the door still shaking slightly with his footsteps. When in the room, Tu Tien stirred slightly. Her eyelashes trembled slightly and then opened, her eyes still misty from a long sleep. She propped herself up with her hands, her movements slow and tired, as if her whole body had not yet caught up with life. Tu Tien's eyes wandered around the unfamiliar room. She squinted, frowned uncomfortably, trying to find some piece of memory, but her head only ached vaguely. Her hands clenched the edge of the blanket. Her breathing became heavy. No voice, no one around, only silence and a feeling of loneliness welling up in her heart. Tu Tien slowly put her feet down from the bed. Her bare feet touching the cool wooden floor made her shiver slightly. Although her heart was still full of confusion, the familiar movements seemed to be imprinted in her subconscious. She gently folded the blanket that someone had carefully covered her with, straightening each fold neatly as a long-standing habit. When she had arranged it neatly, she gently opened the door and stepped out. The fresh air outside rushed in, making her pause slightly. The unfamiliar scene appeared before her eyes. Tu Tien walked slowly step by step, her eyes wide open looking at everything around her. Tu Tien walked slowly into the kitchen, her hand gently holding the wound on her eyebrow to keep her balance. The cozy kitchen with the faint smell of milk invited her to feel a mysterious peace. Just as she reached the door, she stopped when she saw Jack's mother busy preparing some equipment on the desk. As soon as she saw Tu Tien, the yellow incense lady approached, her face full of worry. "Are you awake? Go slowly." She gently protected her arm, helped her sit down on the wooden chair beside the table as if afraid she would fall at any moment. Tu Tien felt a little overwhelmed, but the warmth in her hand softened her heart. There was already a cup of steaming warm milk on the table. She pushed the cup of milk towards her, her voice full of concern. "I've made it for you. Milk for pregnant women. It's very good for the baby in your belly. Drink a little to stay healthy. Tu Tien looked at the cup of milk, feeling her nose sting. Although her memory was still hazy, at this moment, that gentle care made her feel like she wasn't alone. She nodded slightly, her lips trying to stretch into a small smile, her hand trembling slightly as she lifted the cup of milk, silently thanking the woman who treated her like a daughter in the family. Tu Tien gently lifted the cup of milk, took a light breath, then brought it to her lips. As soon as the first sip of milk went down her throat, her face suddenly froze. A sudden feeling of nausea came, discomfort rising in waves in her stomach. She quickly put the cup of milk down on the table, her hands trembling as she grabbed the edge of the table. Tu Tien quickly covered her mouth and rushed out of the chair. She ran straight to the bathroom. Her face was pale. Each step hurried as if she was a little slower, she would not be able to hold it anymore. Jack's mother was startled. Her worried eyes watched her figure disappear behind the bathroom door, clearly hearing her heavy breathing and the sound of water. The bathroom door opened. Tu Tien walked out with a tired look. Her two hands gently held onto the chair as if to keep her balance, her face pale and slightly ashen. Her breathing was still rapid because the nausea just now had not completely stopped. She raised her hand to wipe the corner of her mouth. Her eyes flickered with discomfort and confusion, not understanding why her body reacted so strongly. Jack's mother quickly approached, her hand gently placed on her back, rubbing it gently as if to transmit warmth and comfort. Tu Tien shook her head slightly. Her tired voice made her feel so uncomfortable. She smiled gently, her eyes full of love. It's okay. This is a symptom of morning sickness in pregnant women. When I was pregnant with Jack, I was like that too, even vomiting all day long. The words were as gentle as a cool breeze, soothing Tu Tien's confused mood. She lowered her head and let out a long breath, leaning more on the hand that was supporting her beside her, feeling like she had something to lean on to help her feel less unsteady. Try to bear with it. Everyone has a hard time at first. It will get better. I'm here. Don't worry. Tu Tien nodded slightly, her eyes filled with tears, touched by that sincere care. In that moment, even though her memory was still hazy, the feeling of being loved and protected warmed her heart. Jack now went to a construction site where his company was undertaking construction. Jack stood in the middle of the construction site, the gentle mountain breeze blowing, making his white shirt flutter. His face was focused but still kept a professional smile, his eyes attentively observing every detail of the house that was gradually taking shape. In front of him was the homeowner who was presenting his wishes and suggestions about his future home. Jack nodded and listened, occasionally taking notes of a few important points. His sincere and respectful attitude made the other person feel absolutely secure. He not only suggested optimal solutions but also clearly analyzed the benefits of each option. His deep, confident voice showed his deep understanding in the construction field. When the homeowner raised some concerns about progress and quality, Jack smiled reassuringly, his words calm but firm. Don't worry, we will ensure both quality and time as committed. If anything arises, we will notify you immediately and handle it as quickly as possible. Jack's flexible and standard way of solving problems made the homeowner standing guard admire him. Obviously, this is not just a working man but a talented, dedicated, and courageous young director. He builds each project with responsibility and builds trust with all his heart. After discussing and agreeing on everything, Jack shook the homeowner's hand one more time and said goodbye. In the living room, Tu Tien was sitting leaning back in her chair, her eyes focused on the book in her hand. Hearing the door open, she immediately looked up. Her eyes lit up with joy, her lips curved into a gentle smile. Jack had just entered the house, his breath still carrying a bit of dust and the smell of the sun and wind of the construction site. He walked closer to where Tu Tien was sitting and said that after finishing work, he would come home with her. Tu Tien poured a glass of water and gave it to Jack. He took the glass, his eyes softening when he saw her. The fatigue of the whole day suddenly seemed to disappear. Tu Tien looked at Jack and asked, "Are you tired from work today? Is work okay?" Jack smiled softly, his warm eyes responding to her kindness. "It's okay. Just a little busy. Coming home and seeing you like this makes me feel better right away." Then Jack's mother also walked out of the kitchen, looking at the two children sitting next to each other. A gentle smile appeared on her lips. She sat down next to them, her eyes looking at Tu Tien affectionately. Jack put the glass of water on the table, turned to his mother. "Mom, I'll take Tu Tien to the farm later. Who knows? When she looks back there, she might remember something." Jack's mother nodded, her eyes filled with sympathy and worry for the young girl. "Yes, you should try it, my child. She used to be on the farm a lot. Maybe seeing the familiar scene will remind her of something. Hopefully things will get better." Tu Tien heard that and just bowed her head slightly, her hands clasped together in worry. She didn't know if she really remembered anything, but her eyes were directed towards Jack, trusting and relying. At this time, in a small tea shop, Tu Tien's ex-husband and his mother sat in a shabby house, their faces full of calculations. The mother frowned slightly, her voice low but firm, discussing a new plan with her son. She realized that this time Jack was more vigilant, not as easily trapped as before. Her eyes flashed with cunning when mentioning Jack's mother. "If I can't get money from my son, then I will find a way to make his mother trust me and help me." The son sat next to him, pondered for a moment, then nodded in agreement. The two looked at each other, a sinister smile gradually appearing on their lips, signaling a new plot was forming. She glanced at her son, lowered her voice and said softly but firmly, "Give me the phone." The son did not ask anything more, quietly took the phone from his pocket and gave it to her. She dialed Jack's mother's number. When Jack's mother started to answer the phone, her voice immediately changed to a weak, miserable tone. Her voice was choked as if she was about to cry, occasionally sobbing a few times, making it difficult for the listener not to be moved. After a while of telling the story, she skillfully turned the conversation to the matter of needing help, saying that she wanted to ask Jack's mother for some money to get by temporarily. Then she wanted to meet Jack's mother to talk, and she agreed to meet. As soon as she hung up the phone, her face immediately changed. A smirk appeared. Her eyes flashed with pride. She turned to her son and whispered, "This time we will have a way to get the money without needing Jack anymore." Jack gently led Tu Tien to the small farm in the middle of the green valley, where he hoped the peaceful atmosphere and familiar memories would help her recover her memory. But throughout the journey, Tu Tien remained silent, her eyes absent-mindedly looking around with a bewildered, unfamiliar expression. Jack took Tu Tien to the small house in the middle of the farm where she had lived for a long time before. Everything was still the same. The rustic bamboo table, the corner of the garden covered with green grass, and the smell of damp soil after a light rain. When Jack smiled and recounted the memories they had in this place, he hoped this familiar scene would help her recall her lost memories. However, Tu Tien just stood there looking around, her eyes empty and unfamiliar. She slowly sat down next to the bamboo table, reached out to stroke the kitten that was clinging to her, trying to find some image in her mind. But the more she tried to remember, the more vague everything became, making her sigh softly, her heart filled with an indescribable sadness. While the two were sitting, Tu Tien's father-in-law also came home. When he saw Tu Tien, he immediately asked, "Are you back? He had been looking for you for the past few days." Tu Tien was still bewildered and did not answer his question, which made him surprised. Tu Tien just looked at him with a surprised expression, then gently pulled Jack's hand and asked softly, "Honey, who was that person?" That question made Jack pause, his heart sank. Jack softly told Tu Tien's father-in-law about the accident that had caused her to lose her memory. He said that due to the after-effects of the injury, Tu Tien could not remember anyone, including her relatives or important memories from the past. Hearing that, the old man's face froze for a moment, His eyes flashed with indescribable worry and sorrow. He choked up and said, "Poor child, you must have suffered a lot." Tu Tien just silently looked at him. A vague feeling arose in her heart, both strange and familiar. But no matter how hard she tried, she still could not remember who he was. Tu Tien stood up gently. Her eyes turned to the large yard in front of the small house. She began to walk slowly around the farm, looking at every corner of the garden, every bush, every familiar path that seemed strange to her heart. Everything seemed familiar but could not evoke any clear memories. She tried to force herself to remember, but the more she tried, the heavier her mind became. The fragmented images flashed by and then disappeared like a thin mist. A sudden sharp pain struck her, causing her to raise her hand to her forehead, frowning slightly. Jack and her father-in-law watched from afar, their hearts filled with worry as they saw Tu Tien struggling desperately with her lost memories. Seeing Tu Tien's face pale with pain, Jack panicked and ran towards her. He gently reassured her, "Don't try too hard. You need to rest." Afraid that trying to remember the past would make Tu Tien emotional and affect her health. Jack looked at Tu Tien's father-in-law with a worried look and said, "I'll take Tu Tien home to rest. Her health is still weak. Maybe I shouldn't reminisce too much right now." He nodded, sighed, and looked at the two of them, his heart full of sympathy. Jack gently held Tu Tien's hand, helping her step by step out of the farm, hoping that time and peace would help her find herself again soon. At this time, Tu Tien's mother-in-law also went to the meeting place to meet Jack's mother. A moment later, Jack's mother appeared, looking gentle and worried when she saw her sitting waiting. She quickly stood up, forced a smile, then bowed slightly, her voice trembling with misery. "I've been suffering so much lately, ma'am. My business has failed, so now I need to borrow some money." As she spoke, she sighed, occasionally wiping her tears as if trying to hide her misery. Jack's mother listened, her face filled with concern. Seeing that, she pushed the story further, telling about the difficulties, the mounting debts, and her voice became weaker and weaker. I didn't dare to bother her, just hoping that she would be kind enough to lend me some money to do business. She bowed her head, her hands clasped together like a helpless person. But in her eyes there was a glimmer of secret joy because she saw that Jack's mother seemed to have begun to relent. But Jack's mother understood her cunning nature, so she did not agree to lend her money but only gave her a few coins to spend. Seeing Jack's mother give her some money and seem not to want to lend her more money, the fake sadness on her face gradually disappeared, replaced by a sly, quick-witted look, calculating something. After a few seconds of thinking, she suddenly changed her tone. "Recently I've asked my son to find out. It seems like someone knows about Tu Tien's birth parents. I also intend to help find out, but unfortunately, this matter requires some money to find out the exact information." She said that, then slightly bowed her head, sighed regretfully, cleverly planting hope in Jack's mother's heart. She saw Jack's mother's eyes start to waver, and knew she had hit a weak spot. Her voice immediately became softer, more earnest. As she spoke, she held Jack's mother's hand as if to create more trust. "I honestly just want to help. People say that place is very far away, but I know a few people. They can take me to meet Tu Tien's birth parents directly. If you agree, I will arrange to take you there in a few days on one condition. You must lend me money." After saying that, she also told me that this matter should only be known by the two of us, so don't go home and tell Jack. Once she had achieved her plan to make Jack's mother believe her, she immediately left and told Jack's mother that if she really wanted to find Tu Tien's parents, she should contact her. After saying that, she immediately left, leaving Jack's mother bewildered, watching her leave.